Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Murfreesboro City Council on June the 6th. We have an opening prayer tonight, and as we do, let's remember 80 years ago, there's a lot of folks remembering what took place on D-Day and the sacrifice that so many people made on that day and continue to make for our freedom. So as we do pray, let's pray for those folks that are sacrificing their lives and their families and their futures for our freedom. So, and our opening prayer is from Sean Wright. Sean?
That's it. You bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, please be with us as we make decisions for our great city. Please be with those that are hurting throughout the world, whether here locally, here nationally, or in the rest of the world. There are people that are really hurting and need your love, Lord. Be with them. Please be with all the heroes that, like Mr. Shacklett just said, that lay down their lives for us so we can live the lives we want to live, whether it be first responders, our servicemen or women all around the world. It's your name I pray, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Sean. There were no one signed up for comments on actionable items for our agenda. We have, Council, we have our consent agenda before you. Is there any items that need to be discussed, or do I hear a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Aberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklett?
Aye. Our old business tonight is Ordinance 24012, Amendment to the International Energy Conservation Code Amendment. This is the second and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Aberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklett?
Aye. Our second item is Ordinance 24019, School Board Member Compensation. This is also on second and final reading. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Aberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklett?
Aye. Ordinance 24011, setting fiscal year the water and sewer rate. This is also on second reading, second and final reading. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Aberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklett?
Aye. New business tonight is our fiscal year, the public hearing on our adoption of our proposed fiscal year 25 budget. We have to conduct a public hearing on that. Let's see. I guess we just moved to public hearing. Is that all we do?
Yes, we're presenting the budget for consideration, but we should hold the public hearing first before considering approval on first reading.
All right. All right, we'll conduct a public hearing. If you'd like to speak concerning our fiscal year 25 proposed budget, please come to the podium, state your name and your address. You've got 3 minutes if you're speaking as an individual and 5 if you're speaking for a group. I see no one approaching the podium. All right, we'll close the public hearing, and we will, I'll entertain a motion on ordinance 24014.
I got a comment first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Not a problem. I just want to thank everybody that worked on the budget. It was really great. I'm glad we're prioritizing public safety, and we've already taken care of police. But if Chief McCluskey can come up to the podium for just a moment. Chief, I just want to confirm, you and I have had discussions. I know other council members have had discussions with you also. You are working on a payment schedule and a performance or a compensation package for the fire also to bring back into July, 1st of August type frame, correct?
That is correct. I was tasked with that with the mayor a couple of weeks ago, and I have been working on it ever since then, getting some comparisons, doing look at other shifts like you had requested, but I am working on it and should have something ready to go here in the next few days, maybe the next couple or 3 weeks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Chief, hold up one second, Chief. Are we working on one of the main issues is retention.
Yes, sir.
Is that something that we're going to have in there that you can bring to us?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. And I think one of the things that didn't come out last week, how many officers have you lost? How many firefighters have you?
Well, I'll run some numbers. Last year, we had 40. But since we started having an issue of hiring people or getting people to put in the last 5 years since it started, we have lost, I think it was 168 people. Some of those were retirees, but actually there was 121 new recruits. Basically, when I say a new recruit, I'm talking from 2 to 3 years, get their training and walk out the door.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chief, our most valuable resources are people. And to lose 121 people, what's the cost of that to us as a city and the taxpayers?
When you start figuring in,
15 million, 20 million?
I had a roughly figured about,
125,000 to train one firefighter.
yeah, it roughly figures up to about $15.5 million that we lost on training those individuals.
So I hope that whatever you bring back to us, we've got to solve that problem.
Yes, sir.
It's not sustainable
Yes, sir.
for our city, for our fire department, for everybody as a whole.
It's starting to really catch up with us now where we're seeing the effect of it. We have posted jobs and just a lack of people putting in. It's not the quality of workers we're wanting. It seems like everybody's coming here to get their training. We're getting people with no experience, not sure if they want to be a fireman, not somebody that really wants to come to work for us to be a fireman, or just, like I said, just coming to get their training.
And I'm like Sean and other council members. I want our department to be where everybody wants to come to.
Yes.
Not leave.
And just this week, just going through what I've been going through and comparing the pay studies and retainment issues and stuff like that, I know we have a couple of stations that are pretty close to maybe starting to get built. The way we're going right now with this right here, we can't even hire the people to open those 2 stations in the next 2 to 3 years whenever we do get them built.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
I like to see sometimes in the future, as we hire these people and they go through the training, that they sign something or we make it where they have to stay at least 3 to 5 years after their training. I know that may be impossible because I don't know what the situation is, but I want to thank the firefighters for an excellent job. We have the best fire department. I put them up against anybody in the world. They are excellent. They are excellent. And just to say to you all, just hold on, be patient, and once we decide what we're going to do, I'm going to recommend that we make it retroactive for you.
Yes, ma'am. We, in discussing that, we talking about what you just mentioned. We've looked in that before in the past, especially on our paramedic program we just had. Most of it was funded by a grant. It was just more difficult to do it through a federal grant to try to get somebody to sign an agreement to stay with us. But we can look at that possibility. I know sometimes we may take from other departments and they come in with the training, so it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, but you can look at doing that, a process of holding somebody to maybe 3 or 4 years after they get their training.
Right, because they're being trained by the best.
Yes, ma'am.
We expect them to be the best, but yet and still we don't want to train you and you go off somewhere else and give somebody your skills.
That is correct. I've had comments from other chiefs that have hired our firefighters here that we know they're well-trained. When they get here, we like to hire them.
I'm not done with you, Chief, sorry. I've learned a lot the last few weeks from a lot of the firefighters, many of who sit in this room right now. And I want to say that I appreciate more than they know you guys taking the time to advocate for your fellow men and women that serve with you. I wanted to share with the council and also the public some things that I learned. that fire and rescue in Murfreesboro responded to 26,000 calls last year. Is that true, Chief?
That sounds accurate.
Yeah. And that 75% of those calls were medical related.
That sounds correct.
And so these people are doing so much more than putting out house fires.
Yes, ma'am.
I also learned that we only have 12 paramedics in our department right now.
That's roughly, we have lost a few.
And I thought that was bad enough until I learned that how many are in rigs.
Yeah, well, out of those 12, we have 3 that serve on our administrative staff. So that leaves 9 that are out on our rigs.
At least 9, yeah. Which isn't a lot for a city of our caliber with our population that we have now and that is continuing to grow. Most of council knows that this topic of public safety became very, very important to me because last year, when a 45-year-old man collapsed on a ball field and was unresponsive with no pulse, Murfreesboro Fire and Rescue was there within 3 minutes. And some of the men in this room performed CPR for 17 minutes. And because of that, because they were there and they had the tools that they needed, because we believed in them and supported them, my husband got to come home 7 days later. And that is a debt that I can never repay. And I don't want any other family to have to experience it, but I know that they will. And I don't want a family to have a different outcome because we didn't appropriately or adequately support the people in this room, both in police and in fire rescue. Not sure a council person has ever cried during a meeting before, so I might set a new record today. But if you serve for Murfreesboro Fire and Rescue Department, will you please stand right now? Thank you for what you guys do for us. And I know that Chief McCluskey has put a lot of hours in these last few weeks, and this council is looking forward to seeing how we can support you in everything you do. So thank you.
And I will say another thing on these group of men and women here, no matter what the outcome is, this group will continue to do and serve as they always do, at 100% professional. So,
Yeah, I
Thank you, Chief.
echo that too. Jamie, they saved my life a few times.
Yeah.
In fact, just Sunday.
Are you okay, man?
I passed out at church and I wake up and firefighters. But thank you all for everything you do.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief.
thank you.
Thank you, Chief, that's fine.
All right, thank you.
Move for approval.
Second.
I do want to point out that the budget as presented has a 4% raise. Okay, so the police adjustments that were discussed are not incorporated in there. So I just wanted to make sure that was,
Move for approval with the police adjustments in there.
that were, okay, so, okay.
I did not realize that was on first reading. That's correct, yeah.
There is another reading which changes can be made between the first and the
Right, but we can approve the budget with the changes to police now, and then your exhibit attached to the ordinance next week will be updated to reflect those new numbers.
Yeah.
And so, Adam, do they need to approve the changes before approving the budget, or can they just approve the ordinance on first reading with those changes?
Does the exhibit have the changes in it?
No.
Then they need to amend it, pass an amendment to the budget, and then pass the ordinance.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to restate the amendment then?
Yeah.
So I think what y'all need is a motion to amend the budget with the police adjustments. And what may be simplest is just to say starting pay is at $62,500, and then we will have those amounts incorporated.
just make it even easier. I move for whatever Aaron just said.
But I think that we're making a motion.
We have to vote on the amendment
Right,
first.
first.
Yeah, vote on
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
But the amendment is covering the police side of safety, and then
Right.
we're anticipating more discussions and presentations from the chief in the
That's correct.
future, the near future, about the fire side of things.
correct.
Okay, fantastic. I will second Mr. Wright's fabulous motion.
Okay, we have a motion, I think, and a second.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Now, on first reading, ordinance 24014. Do I hear a motion to approve that ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Thank you. All right, on first reading, ordinance 24015. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Just a little comment about budgets. Been through several of them, and if you've been around long enough, you realize that budgets are living documents. There are things that change once it's adopted. This is a path forward, but because things change and we'll see things that need to be addressed in the midst of budget year, we make amendments to budgets all the time. So, I've gotten a chance to talk to several of you, and I really enjoy getting to know the quality of people that we have serving in our police department and our fire department. We are very fortunate. I don't have to see you every day, unfortunately, yet. But the issue is we have quality people who care about the job that they're doing and care about each other. Because a lot of people that I talked to weren't just speaking for themselves, they were speaking for the people that they work for. And while they may be at another level in our time in service, they were concerned about people at another level of service and for the long-term view of our department, for the good of our department. And I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to address the issues that are your concerns. There are concerns too. I think our goal is the same. We want fairly compensated, adequately benefits, and enough people on job to do the work that we have before us. Now we just need to find a way that we can get there. And whether it's our police or fire or any employee for our city, we want to have that be, I think what what Austin was saying is the fact that, we want this to be the place that people want to come to work. And whatever job that there is, this needs to be the place. And part of that job is informing us, because, quite honestly, we need you to inform us. And I thought the dialogue that we had was respectful, honorable, and informative. And I thank you guys for helping us become better informed, and hopefully we'll make our city even better. So that's what we want. All right. We have another ordinance under new business, ordinance 24017, City Code. This is Chapter 33-2 and 50 changes to in our water resources. Mr. Gore.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Was looking up here.
I know. I've switched on you a little bit. Sorry about that. This evening, this is really kind of some cleanup items in our Chapter 33 sewer use ordinance and water use ordinance. If I can get my screen shared here. We have a new definition inside of our connection fees. It's the assisted and senior living. We had not had that previously, so that's defined as dwelling units that do not have individual oven, stove, or laundry equipment within the residence. We're just putting that into our sewer connection fees and treating those equivalent to hospital beds or nursing home beds. Additionally, we've got a couple of terms inside the in 33.2D and 3350A3 where we were required to ask for the council's approval on commercial space exceeding 35,000 square feet. We're proposing to eliminate that since we do have several. I think when the code was first written, it was rare to have a 35,000 square foot commercial space. Those are pretty routine now, and we are able to get water records for those fairly easily. We would still be bringing industrial uses to you for your approval on connection fees, but we're proposing to eliminate that commercial space exceeding 35,000 square feet. So I'm available for questions if you have any.
Any questions?
If there are none, I'll move for approval.
Motion to approve and
Second.
a second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
And Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. All right, Resolution 24R21, Schools Fiscal Year 24 Budget Amendment Number 10. Mr. Dr. Duke.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor and Council. As we wrap up our fiscal year, we have some final budget amendments to bring for the council tonight. I'm presenting a resolution for your approval to amend our city schools general purpose and federal projects budget. These budget amendments were approved by the City School Board on both May 14th and May 28th. In our general purpose fund, we are budgeting new revenue from career ladder payments from the state, paid parental leave funds, interest income, and TISA outcome funding. These revenues we budgeted for salaries and benefit line items as well as maintenance line items. The total increase in our general purpose fund is $689,218. Additionally, in our federal projects funds, we are recognizing some new revenue for paid parental leave for federally paid employees, as well as adjusting our federal title funds from initial projections to actual amounts for FY24. Overall, that is a net decrease of $7,036, and we've adjusted expenditures as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Any questions?
If there are none, I move for approval.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. All right, Resolution 24R20, Wharf Biosolids Dryer Construction Cost Reimbursement. Mr. Gore.
Vice Mayor Shacklet, again, thank you for this opportunity to review these items. I'm going to say items because there's about 3 other items under the on motion category of your agenda. So I'm just going to give a brief overview, and I won't do that again when we get to the on motion items. So what we're looking at here, this is a thermal drying project. It takes all the biosolids at our water resource recovery facility, and it dries them into a beneficially reusable soil amendment. This would eliminate us taking it to Middle Point landfill, where we have about 8 truckloads per day of dewatered biosolids. When we dry the biosolids, we'll have about 1 truckload a day, and those will be able to be placed on sports areas, on agricultural fields or agricultural farms and so forth. What we're asking, we had 2 bids that we received May 16th, one in the amount of $33.1 million and the other just north of $33.5. We only budgeted $28 million in debt issuance, and we have a sinking fund that we've had since 2015 that's accrued about $5.7 million. What you have right now in front of you is the refunding or the reimbursement resolution that we would ask that the city or the Water Resources Department would pay for that, say, the first year with cash on hand, and when the city goes out for its general obligation bond issuance, that we would be able to piggyback on top of that and recoup that the money that is spent over the next year, plus that additional debt service. This is about a 3-year project. We do have a design task order that's about $650,000 in remaining balance. Coming up, we're going to be asking for resident project representative, which is basically on-site inspection, geotechnical services in the $127,500. That puts the total engineering services just shy of $3 million, with a total project expense of about $36 million. So again, what we're asking right now is for you to approve that reimbursement resolution for a future debt issuance, that we would be able to recoup the cash that we expend over the next year or so. So I know that's a lot of information, but be happy to answer any questions that you've got.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Mr. Russell?
Ms. Averwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade? Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Update commercial operator lease agreement with Mike Jones Aircraft Sales. Mr. Gerke.
Hello, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. We'd brought a lease to you a while back, and with that lease and with the, there were several restrictions that were associated with that hangar when we brought the plans before Planning Department and different groups. And some of those restrictions were very difficult for the tenant to operate their aircraft maintenance business with. And after listening to the tenant, I brought that to Kevin Jones with our Building and Codes, Jennifer Tagg with our city legal department, and then also with our Fire Marshal Brian Lowe. We revisited those restrictions and found some language in our codes that would allow some of these operations to occur with more clarification in how they went about the work, such as working on an oxygen system for the aircraft, defueling and fueling an aircraft to be able to work on a fuel tank, and other small things. So those items were revisited in the lease agreement and straightened out, which allows the tenant to do the work that they need to do the aircraft maintenance properly. So with that, Mike Jones has signed the lease agreement and wanting to get your approval on that. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
If there are none, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade? Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amended contract for professional management and administrative services. Mr. Holtz.
Yes. Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. The item before you tonight is an amendment to a contract that we've had with Blue Link since 2021. They provide us administration and management services for our CDBG and home partnership grant. So the amendment before you is to continue that grant through that contract through FY25. It's funded out of CDBG and home partnership.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Holtz. We have a contract amendment for Patterson Park ductwork and replacement. Mr. Hennessy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In April 2024, the city entered into an agreement with Trinity Geothermal for the replacement of the metal HVAC ductwork at Patterson Park in the amount of roughly $121,000. During demolition of the old ductwork, it was discovered that the return airflow was restricted by heavy accumulation of dirt and other debris. Trinity has submitted a proposal in the amount of $3,126 to clean and reseal the 2 return air boxes at the ceiling. This expense will be funded by the FY21 Patterson Park CIP budget. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions, comments?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Professional service contract amendment for Old Fort Tennis Courts renovation. Mr. Hennessy again.
Thanks again for the opportunity. In July 2023, the city entered into an agreement with Wold Architects and Engineers for planning and design services for the Old Fort Park tennis court renovations in the amount of $75,000. City staff at the time anticipated oversight of construction administration in-house, but due to the complexity of the engineering submittals related to the project, it's recommended that Wold's proposal for the construction administration be accepted. Wold's proposal is for $13,268 to complete the scope of work desired and will be funded by the American Rescue Plan Act. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Use of competitive seal proposals for human resources procurement. Ms. Smith.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice Mayor Shacklet and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. The first item I have for your consideration is the approval of the use of the RFCSP method of procurement to bid services for human resources. An RFCSP, or Request for Competitive Seal Proposals, is used when price is not only the determining factor when choosing a vendor. Human Resources would like to rebid our service providers for the city's FSA and Medicare HRA and our EAP services. And pursuant to state statute and city code, council approval is required to use the RFCSP process for procurement. I request approval, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
No questions, so moved.
Second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Ms. Aberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye.
The second item I have for you tonight is a request for approval of master services agreements for pre-qualified building contractors and trade contractors for city projects. The purchasing department issued an RFQ for building construction contractors and an RFCSP for trade contractors for facilities maintenance projects and small construction projects. The responses were evaluated by staff, and we chose 10 building contractors and 7 trades contractors. We will use a master services agreement for these and work orders for the individual projects. A sample of the master services agreement and the work order was in your agenda packet. Just a side note, I would like to lift up Megan Strode from my office who handled these bids. It took a lot of coordination to do the evaluations, the MSAs, the work orders, and get everything straight for 17 vendors. So it was a lot of work, and I just want to lift her up. These contracts will greatly assist both facilities maintenance and project development, as well as other departments with small projects, small construction projects that will save both time and money. I request approval, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Are most of these local Rutherford County?
Most of them are. There was a list, but I can read them to you, but a good variety. Some here, some outside.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Aberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Good job.
All right. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard Phase 2 Sidewalk Project, Amendment Number 4, TDOT contract. Mr. Kirk.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and members of the council. The city received a TDOT Transportation Alternative Programs, which is called TAP grants, for the development and implementation of a sidewalk project along Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard from Middle Tennessee Boulevard to Minerva Drive. The TAP grant award only covered 50% of construction cost and was capped at $1 million. The city then received a TDOT Multimodal Access Grant in the amount of $703,605 at a 95% state and 5% local match for right-of-way easement cost as well as additional construction funds. Since that time, with the development of the construction plans and the easement purchases, a shortfall in funding required to meet the project delivery was identified. The city, through TDOT's TAP program, received an additional $615,713 in funds to offset the shortfall of the project. The TAP program funds projects at an 80% federal and 20% local match. The city's 20% portion of the TAP fund is estimated at $123,143 and will be funded from the FY CIP budget for this project. I would like to mention that TDOT is in the process of paving MLK from Broad to Rutherford, as well as Broad Street from MLK to Rutherford. Castings on MLK are being adjusted now. We had actually a meeting yesterday we found out about. Castings on MLK are being adjusted now with milling to start next week. Milling and paving will be performed at night. So I'm available for any questions.
If no questions, I move for approval.
Second.
Motion and second, please call the roll.
Ms. Aberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Memorial Boulevard, State Route 10, traffic signal improvements, contract amendment number 1 with TDOT.
Thank you,
Mr. Kirk.
Vice Mayor. The city, through the Federal Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, which is called CRRSA, received $774,171 of federal funds at a 100% match through TDOT for the development and implementation of traffic system signal improvements along Memorial Boulevard from St. Clair to Thompson Lane. Since that time, Congress has rescinded $645,000 of the COVID relief funds in the spring of 2023. This contract amendment adds an additional $1,677,301 in federal funds to the design and construction phases of this project. This project will update pedestrian features, system hardware, software, and incorporate dedicated short-range communication technology that can be integrated with the TDOT I-24 Smart Corridor project technology. The upgrade of this system will provide staff with additional tools for implementation of signal performance measures and overall operation efficiencies along the corridor. The city anticipates additional funds will be requested for construction through the Metropolitan Planning Organization at an 80-20 match. As such, $642,500 of local match is included in the general and FY21 CIP funds. I'm available for any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second, please call the roll. Mr.
Ms.
Rosen?
Saberwater.
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Curl. All right, the Darren Gore Show continues.
Vice Mayor, Council, thank you for your consideration of these next few items. What we have before you on this particular item is a professional services contract with ADS. They are the provider that takes care of our sanitary sewer flow monitors throughout our system. There's 19 permanent flow monitors. These flow monitors are integral to our sanitary sewer allocation report that we provide you each year, and the numbers before you, this is kind of our fishbone diagram that shows you the number of connections that are available in our system. So we're asking for an amendment number 2. This is going to be the third year for this particular contract that allows for the extension of the contract, and it's in the amount of $340,000. Available for questions if you have any.
Mr. Gore, do you just try to confuse us so we'll vote on stuff? I can't.
No, I try not to confuse you. I'm sorry. That's why I try to use pictures.
It's an impressive chart. So moved.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Please, Mr. Rosen, if you'll call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater.
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye. Next.
Something easier,
Recommendations.
please.
I know. I won't go back through the other slides. You've already approved the resolution 24R20. And so now we are asking for the approval of the engineering task order with Smith Seckman Reed for resident project representative for the construction inspection services in conjunction with the thermal drying project.
No questions, so moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater.
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye. Continue.
Probably should have had this one first because this is the actual approval of the construction contract for $33.1 million.
I was trying to
on the-
confuse us. I was right.
You've approved the RPR services first, and now I'm asking for the construction contract approval for Reeves Young LLC, subject to legal department final review.
You will make a great city manager because you're tricky.
I actually did not create the agenda this week. That was still Craig. Yeah.
No questions, so moved.
Second.
Motion second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater.
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye. And
Please, Ruby.
And lastly, we're asking for the engineering task order with TTL for geotechnical services. They're the ones that are checking to make sure all the concrete and the steel is correct as the construction ensues. So we would ask for your approval on that contract as well.
So moved.
Second.
motion second. Please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater.
Aye.
Ms. Scales Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell.
Aye.
Mr. Wade.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Gore.
Thank you.
All right, we have from the mayor, Board of Electrical Examiners, we have 2 reappointments and 1 appointment that needs to be approved. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, please call the roll.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gels Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. Beer permits.
We have 2 regular beer permits, one for a new location of a restaurant located at 2181B Old Fort Parkway, and one for an ownership name change for a grocery store market located at 1208 Northfield Boulevard. We also have 5 special event beer permits, one for Main Street Market, 3 for Charity Circle of Murfreesboro, and 1 for Ascension St. Thomas Rutherford Foundation. All applicants meet the requirements for issuing the beer permits per the city code. Chapter 4, alcoholic beverages, pending building and codes inspections and special event permits.
Motion to approve the Burr permits.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Ms. DeRosa, if you could call the roll, please.
Ms. Saberwater?
Aye.
Ms. Gales Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Wright?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shacklet?
Aye. All right, are there any statements need to be paid?
No.
No statements to be paid. Is there any other business to come before council? Any other comments?
I'll just add to, our firefighters in the audience. I sincerely appreciate you being here tonight. You guys, it's your off day, could be at home with your families. So thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your concerns. And I'm very hopeful that our council and Chief McCluskey, is going to bring us a good plan that we can find a way to make it work. So thank you.
Any other comments? All right, we stand adjourned.